Piggy's story feels rushed. Well, at least that's what most people think. However, I'm here to explain and show to you why Piggy's story writing is actually a well-crafted masterpiece. Now, I'm going to start this off by saying, Book 1's story was rather mediocre compared to Book 2. Now don't get me wrong, I love Book 1. It's really well made. However, story-wise, it falls a little flat. I'm going to be spending most of this video highlighting Book 2's story. Starting things strong, Book 2 features some returning characters from Book 1. Pony originally didn't have much backstory in the first book, which is why he didn't seem like that important of a character. However, with the release of the second book, we ended up getting much more backstory for Pony. We found out Pony was actually in TSP and left due to the fact that Willow forced him to, well, essentially kill our friend Doggy. Pony has an intense amount of guilt build up from these events and leaves the Silver Paw. Pony actually has a lot of connections to Willow, stemming back to even before the infection began. Pony's backstory was extremely well established with the help of Book 2, which is what makes him a really interesting character. However, he's not the only character with a complex backstory. Willow Wolf is a new character introduced in Book 2. However, she doesn't just feel like a character that was added for the sake of having a new character. She's essentially an antagonist who has ties with the player and Doggy. We learned that before the infection, Willow was arrested by the player for stealing things around the city. Willow Wolf ends up holding resentment towards the player. I love this type of character, honestly. Willow believes she's in the right for stealing to feed her family, whilst the player was only doing their job. This moral dilemma makes us question if she really is the antagonist. Her character development near the end is also really touching. Oh, and also, she's just really cool. Now, there's one more character that I personally enjoyed the most. The Iniquitous One, also known as Tio, is the most important character in the Piggy story. Although a lot of people think Minitoon introduced him a little too late into the story. I personally don't see that as a problem, as we've had plenty of clues and hints as to who might be behind the whole infection. His whole personality is well crafted. He's arrogant and believes he knows better than anybody else. He is an extremely well put together villain, which is why he deserves much better. As I've said at the beginning, Book 2's story is much more well produced compared to its predecessor. It has much stronger messages built into it, with it going into more depth about who truly started the infection. The player, Pony, and Zizzy are represented as the main characters in the game. Minitoon decided to then essentially kill off Zizzy in Chapter 3. Well, yeah, this was sad at the time. It was actually a genius move by him. Not only did it create a sense of sadness for the characters, it also pushed Pony further into insanity, leaving behind the one person he truly cared about. Definitely took a toll on his mental stability, which allowed Tio to enter his mind more easily. The fact that the Iniquitous One is behind almost everything in Piggy honestly impressed me. Minitoon being able to create such a unique character that solved many plot holes in the story is just mind-blowing. Another genius part of the story is Willow realizing her wrongdoings. Willow, as a character, always believes that she is truly in the right. Back at the factory, she realized that she had been blinded by revenge and resentment to see the damage she had caused, causing her to attempt to help out the player. This is an interesting turning point for Willow, as she has always sought nothing more than revenge. Speaking of revenge, Tigry despised Willow for the way she treated him. All that anger, rage, and hatred for Willow kept building up. Eventually, Tigry comes back in the second to last chapter and fights against Willow. This shows character development for Tigry, as he's no longer just a pushover, and is finally willing to fight back against those who have treated him unfairly. Now, we loop back to the Iniquitous One. Tio doesn't particularly enjoy the player finding the cure and attempting to stop the infection, so he ends up infiltrating the player's mind in an attempt to stop them. Now this makes me enjoy Tio even more, as it shows the lengths he's willing to go to keep someone from interfering with his plans. One more genius move done within the story is at the very end, after the hidden ending. Just when everything looks fine, we're given a cliffhanger. So if Minish never wanted to add another book, he could go from there. But who knows? I just enjoy cliffhangers in general. It keeps me on the edge of my seat. An important thing to mention is one of the bonus chapters, specifically the distraction chapter. It gives us so much more information about what happened to Zizzy after we left her back at the refinery. We learn that Tio is also within her mind. All of this goes to show how truly powerful Tio is, despite not even existing within this world. So, what makes the story writing so smart? Well, it's mostly because of the messages being conveyed, the more in-depth backstories, and the main antagonist not even existing in this world. Now, with all this information taken in, story and characters analyzed, this begs the question. In my personal opinion, it's just that Piggy isn't the same anymore. Yes, we have incredible story and much higher quality chapters, but at the end of the day, it's just not the same as the prime days of Piggy. A lot of people ended up quitting Piggy after book 1, and due to only ever playing book 1, they probably aren't willing to give book 2 a chance. But the second book does deserve a chance for everyone to realize the true meaning behind the Piggy story. It's a story of not being able to trust those close to you, holding grudges on those you believe who have wronged you, and most importantly, it's a story of moving on from the past, being able to forgive and to forget, being able to move on towards the future. Honestly, Piggy is one of the greatest games on Roblox. Not many games are capable of replicating what made it so great. I will always hold a special place in my heart for this game, and hope that one day we may get another update. I was hoping to make this video longer, but I've been editing for like 8 hours now, so I'm not sure if I can drag this out any further. I'm still sort of new to this whole YouTube thing, as you can tell from my microphone quality. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you too can appreciate the true meaning of the Piggy story.